Hi, I'm Brianna Alexis, and I have no friends. Okay, so let me just clarify. I have friends, just not a lot of friends. I probably have, maybe I can use all 10 of my fingers to count how many friends I have, and that's probably a stretch. I really don't have that many friends. Um, I don't know, sometimes it just feels like I don't have friends because all of my friends, they live out of the state. All of but one. There's one that lives in the same city as me. But other than that, all of my friends live out of the state. And then it's like all of my friends have their own group or set of friends. So it's like if they're not hanging out with me, or if we're not all together in one place and they're off with their other friends, I sometimes kind of feel just a little bit lonely, or like I have no friends, because it's like they're not just my friends, like they have friends of their own. Um, it's always kind of been like that. Like I've always never really had that many friends. If I think all the way back to like elementary school, I think back then I probably only had maybe two or three like people that I would consider friends. And honestly, I didn't get those two or three friends until like maybe the fourth or fifth grade. And then after that, we kind of all went to different middle schools. So they were just my friends for those like a year or two. And yeah, I don't know. I've never really had a lot of friends. I've always kind of just been by myself, alone. Now I will say, partly the reason being is because I was very quiet, very, very quiet, very shy, didn't talk to anybody like when I was younger. I was one of those kids who went to school, did my work, and went home about my business. I didn't really hang out around school, wasn't really a part of like any clubs or anything like that. Kind of just stayed to myself. I was just extremely, extremely just shy. Like I didn't talk to anybody. I just never really felt that I fit in with a lot of different groups. I always felt misunderstood. That kind of stemmed from, I would say, like family. I never really felt like I fit in. My mom's side of the family, I don't know, I just always felt like they was different. Like when I'm hanging around with my mom's side of the family, it's like my mom, when she's around them, you could tell she fits in with them. Like that's her family, she gets along. But whenever I'm around them, I don't know, even though I'm her daughter and she raised me, you know, I grew up around them, I just always just felt like an outcast or an outsider, I guess. Her family tends to say that they like to consider me a white girl. And so I guess because like they used to always like make jokes about like the way that I talk, the way that I dress, the people that I hang out with, the type of music that I listen to. I don't know, I guess I just always felt like, well, because I don't listen to the same music as them, or because I don't hang out with the same type of people they hang out, because I don't dress or talk the way that they talk, I guess I'm not like a part of them. And so I just never felt like I fit in with that side of the family, or like they never understood me. Then if I looked at like my dad's side of the family, his side of the family is kind of weird. It's like they're not really all exclusive. Like everyone on his side of the family kind of just does their own thing a little bit. For one, I only know like the immediate family. I don't know a lot of people in his family. He's never really took us around his family like that. And then a lot of them live out of the country, from in the Virgin Islands. So there's that. But then it's just like the people that I do know his family that I do know that are still in the States or live nearby. I don't know, they all kind of just do their own thing. There's never really, I don't recall ever, you know, going to any type of like family reunions or doing, they don't really do things as like a whole, as a family. Every now and then they may go out to dinner, take their mom out to dinner. So my grandmother, for her birthday or something, that's like the only time that I've seen everybody together. But for the most part, everyone's just kind of like do their own thing. They check in here and there with each other, but it's like every man for themselves kind of. So there's really no place for me to even try to fit in or feel like I belong on that side of the family anyway, because it's like there's no inclusivity. I would say there's certain parts of me that I feel that I can relate to that side of the family, in the sense of like they all are kind of just like independent, do their own thing, kind of like excluding themselves. I do say I do that. I tend to do that a lot. I tend to just kind of stick to myself, do my own thing, kind of like exclude myself a little bit from different things. So I guess where like I can relate to them in that sense, but it's not like I feel a part of them or feel included with them, because it's like nothing to be included with. I don't know. I would say that like it was always just really hard for me to even try to get friends, because I just felt like there was never a group, there was never like a clique where I can fit into. So, you know, growing up, when you're going to school, especially like, you know, elementary school, middle school, even high school, there's cliques. People tend to form or have friends based off, you know, a group of people or a clique of people that they feel like they mostly relate to. So, you know, you have your, what people would say, nerds, you have your popular people, you have your jocks, the athletic people, you have your cool kids, like, y'all know the social classes. And so when I look at those type of groups within like social settings or just in school in general, like, I don't know, I just never felt like I could fit into just one of those groups. Like, if I were to look at to like the nerd, I really hate to say the word nerd because it's like they're not nerds, but like you're really smart people, or just that what other people would say geeky or nerdy or whatever. If I were to look at that group, like I would feel like I can somewhat kind of fit into there, just because like I'm really smart and I like sometimes nerdy stuff like tech and like computer stuff I'm into, but it's like I don't feel like that group of people would consider me like to be a part of them. So it was like it never meshed, never clicked. Like, yes, I can get into it, but it's like I'm not really a part of them. Then like I guess if you were to look at like the jocks or athletic, I mean, I was a cheerleader in high school, but you know, to be a part of like that group or that clique, not really me. Only because like, yeah, I like to, you know, get dirty, get rough, be athletic and stuff, but at the same time, like, I like to get cute, I like to dress up, I like makeup, I like heels, like, kind of, I guess, would be considered too girly for them, right? Or if you look at like the popular kids, I mean, it sounds good to be a part of that type of group, but I'm not mean, nor do I want to be mean. And so it's like I can't really fit into that category either, because it's just like that's not who I am. And I don't know, they would probably be too mean to me anyway, so I probably just wouldn't be able to get into that type of clique. I don't know, so it's just all like, no matter what clique it was, no matter what group or social organization or anything that it was, I just never felt that I could fully be me a part of those groups. Like I've always felt like there was pieces of me that can probably possibly fit into the different groups, but not all of me. It kind of reminds me of like High School Musical, where like there's all in the groups, and then who was it? The one person, they tried to go sit with another group that's not their typical group, and everybody just had like a whole fit about it, because it's just like, that's just, oh, Gabriella went to go sit with a group that was not who she was supposed to be sitting with, and everyone just had like a whole fit. Like, you don't do that. You can't be in multiple different groups. You gotta choose a side. So that's kind of what I felt like. I never really felt like there was just one group that was just for me. Like, it wasn't honestly until college where I can say I found a group that was just, that I would say is just for me. Like, I found my group of people, which are the friends that I have today. The barely 10 friends that I have today is what I can say is my group of people. Everybody in that group of people that I would consider my friends, like, I really feel like they allow me to be fully and completely myself. Whenever I'm around them, I feel extremely comfortable. I feel extremely safe. Like, I feel like I don't have to be a certain version of myself with any of them. I feel like I can be completely all of me. I can be the nerdy, geeky version of me. I can be the cool version of me. I can be the athletic version of me. I can be the weird version of me. Like, every single version of me, I feel I can be completely that around them without feeling judged. Like, I feel like they get me, they understand me, they're into the things that I'm into. We all kind of like are almost kind of the same. And so that's what I appreciate about, you know, the group of friends that I do have. It's just, I consider those group of friends like my people. That's where I fit in. They're my group of people. The only thing about just my group of people, I feel like I fit into them because, you know, they make me feel safe, comfortable. I could be completely myself. Like, I feel like they're my group of people. But it's like each one of them are, in a sense, kind of like a part of groups that I felt like I didn't always, you know, fit into. So it's like, together, they're, you know, my people. They're my group of my people. They're where I fit into. But it's like they have their own friends, you know, outside of me. So it's like when we're not together, they are out, you know, with their other friends and things like that. And it's like when they do that, I go back, so I feel alone again. I feel like I have no friends, because I don't have, you know, other friends outside of my group of people. Again, I just never felt like there's any other friends or people that I can kind of fit into. So it's like I finally found my group of people. These are my people that I can be around with all the time, like the core set of people. But it's like my core set of people have their other groups of people that they are friends with, which is okay. Like, that's, you know, people have all types of friends, different type of friends. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I wish I had that. It's just hard for me to get that because I just never feel like I fit in to any other type of like friend group or different kinds of people outside of my core group of people. Which makes me just, you know, feel like I have no friends whenever my friends are with their friends. Sometimes I do wish that, you know, my people could just be my people and they don't have to go hang out with their other friends. It's just me is what I kind of wish sometimes. I don't know. I'm starting to realize that, like, making friends or just being social in general, it makes me anxious. Like, very anxious to the point where, like, I actually get, like, an anxiety about it. I've come to realize that like I still kind of like categorize people into these social classes, and I don't think I do it intentionally. I don't know, maybe because that's how I've done it in grade school and school, it just kind of stuck with me. But like I really, as an adult now, I find it so hard to actually even try to make friends because I still kind of like subconsciously socialize people into these groups where I feel like I don't fit into. Because this is like my version of like social anxiety. Like I really do feel like, you know, there's different versions of social anxiety. Like me, it's categorizing people. Like I tend to categorize any person that I get that I'm able to interact with, and I put them into these little groups where I either feel like I'm included in and I can get along with them, or I feel like I'm not included in and I can't get along with them. And because I can't get along with them, it makes me very anxious. It makes me feel like small, unimportant, like a loner, basically. Honestly, I feel so small on the inside. So much so to where like I literally isolate myself. I've had moments where like I've been around groups of people who I would consider to be at the top of this list, and it's like I have a whole mini anxiety attack because it's like my mind just starts telling me like these people are like judging you, they don't care about you, like you're not, they don't see you, like it just starts telling me all these things that are probably not true, but it's like my mind tells me that, and then I just get into this like I just start feeling so small, like I just literally feel like I'm just like crumbling or caving in. I don't know, I guess like how do I deal with this? I try to get out of this mindset. I really do. I try to like branch out, meet new people whenever I have the opportunity to. I tend to find though that if I'm gonna be in like big social groups that drinks have to be involved because I feel like it's easier for me to socialize. It's easier for me to be a little bit myself, be a little bit like let loose a little bit when I am drinking. Alcohol tends to do that. It loosens me up a little bit. It makes me not so like self-conscious of everything. And so when I do have to be around, you know, bigger crowds and bigger groups, that's what I tend to do. I like to make sure there's some type of drink involved. I don't want it to make it seem like I have to have a drink to be around people. I don't have to do that. I just choose, like it's a choice, and sometimes I choose to do it and sometimes I don't. In the times that I do choose to do it, like that's my reasoning. I just feels like it helps me to be a little bit more loose. But it's definitely not like a abusive thing. It's not like a substance thing. None of that. So like I'm very aware, self-conscious of the things that I do or the choices that I make. So it's never that type of situation. I try to avoid crowds, larger crowds, or just being around people I don't know in general. Like I would much rather small group, intimate settings with the people that knows me and that I know best. Love those type of things. I would much rather just stick with my core group of people than to meet newer people. I know that sounds bad, but like that's just what makes me feel comfortable. And so I guess in a sense avoiding having to meet new people, be around bigger crowds, it's kind of what helps too. I like to see it as just not putting myself in those situations, like not putting myself in a situation where I know that I'm going to feel alone, feel like an outcaster, feel overlooked, feel unimportant. Like if I can avoid those types of situations, if I could just have the option or choice to not even put myself in that situation, that works best for me, because it's like, why would I set myself up to feel those type of feelings, to be anxious, to have that type of anxiety? So if I can avoid it, by all means, I most definitely will, until I find a way to where like it's just not a thing anymore, where I don't have that anxiousness, where I don't have that type of anxiety. That's what I would prefer, just to not even put myself in those situations, because it literally never fails. Anytime I'm in a group of people that I just don't know, or that I subconsciously categorize into this social class that I know that I'm not a part of or don't want to be a part of, without a doubt, I am going to get anxious. I am going to have anxiety about it. I am going to feel all of the negative things about being in that group. I'm gonna feel overlooked. I'm gonna feel left out. I'm gonna feel alone. All these thoughts about how these people are not paying attention to me. They don't care about me. I'm not important. Like, all these different thoughts are gonna come to mind. And so until I can figure out how to not even make that a thing anymore for me, I absolutely would just much rather just not even put myself in those situations. I'd rather just be in my small group, intimate setting with my group of people who I know I feel comfortable around, who I feel safe around, who doesn't judge me, who I can be all of me around. I'll stick with those people and not just avoid those other things. Maybe it's because I feel that like people view me in different ways. I think the way I view myself, I don't really think that other people view me in that way. Like, I think I'm someone who can be the funnest person in the room, the funniest person in the room, but I can also be very like chill, laid back. But overall, I think I'm pretty cool of a person, right? These are things that people have told me, and so it's not like I'm just telling myself that this is the way people are viewing me. It's not my own conclusion of how people are viewing me. Like, I've actually heard these things from people. Maybe it could be I'm choosing to believe these things, which is the problem. That may be the problem. But I want to say, when I say these things, it's not me making them up. I've actually heard them. But yeah, I've heard that like people think I'm mean. People think that I'm boring. I'm laughing to try not to cry, because sometimes it actually bothers me. Hold on. People think that I'm kind of like stuck up, or that I'm just like I don't know, just stuck up and in my ways, I guess. Don't know why people think that, but some people think that. I guess because they consider me or think that I'm always so serious, which I don't think I'm always serious. Some people think that I just like to be alone, that I don't like people. And I know I jokingly say a lot that I don't like people, but it's like, I don't really mean that I don't like people. This makes me think of like that Ari Lennox song, the end of it, where she's basically talking about being like liking to be alone and in her own space, but then like realizing now that she's finally got her own space and she's alone all the time, realizing that like you actually need people, you actually need to be social. Like, you can't be alone all the time. And so I think that's where, like, you know, I joke around and I say I don't like people, but it's like, yes, I enjoy my alone time, I enjoy my space, but I enjoy it so much because I often feel like people don't get me. And so when I say I don't like people, I don't really mean I don't like people. I just say that because sometimes it's easier to be alone. But yeah, I don't know, that's just my take on like social anxiety and why I think I have no friends.